What's up, gente? What's up, Raza? So Trump is trying to steal the elections. We all know that. This is nothing new. I've been talking about this for a while. But I want to add to that. He's trying to steal the elections, not only by, declaring a national emergency and invoking the Insurrection Act and all these other, laws that are in place for him to do. He's planning to commit war crimes, continue to commit, I should say. He's planning to continuing to commit war crimes because they've been committing war crimes forever. But especially now with what's happening in Iran, the man is Looney Tunes, right? He's crazy. We all know that he's not all there, and he's barking up, these trees, and the Iranians are mocking him, and they got no army to match the United States. They got no navy to match the United States. They're fighting with $20,000 drones versus billion-dollar, airplanes and billion-dollar infrastructure that the United States, puts up in the air. What that goes to show is that it's a guerrilla warfare that's taking place just like in Vietnam, and just like in Vietnam, he's planning to commit war crimes. And what I mean by that is when they killed 165 little girls on day one when they bombed Iran without letting them know, when they're supposed to be negotiating, right? In Qatar, they're supposed to be talking about a deal. The U.S. backstabs, known for backstabbing the native people. We can tell you that, known for backstabbing many people throughout history. They backstab the Iranians and they kill 165 little girls. So war crimes have already been committed. But now he goes on television and he not just warns about committing more war crimes and puts it out there. He's talking about taking out the infrastructure, including the processing systems that basically clean out the water, make it possible for people to survive. These are systems that keep people alive, everything from heating, electricity, hospitals. If they'll kill 165 little girls on day one in a school, what do you think they're going to do, right? Today? So the man is crazy. He's out of his mind. And war crimes is just another thing that he's going to add to the list. And here's why I think that's relevant. When you commit war crimes, right? When you do that, and now you up the stakes, and now you make it even harder for people to start going at you because obviously his own political party has no backbone. They're a cult. That's what MAGA is, and the Republican Party has become, right? And obviously the Democrats aren't. They don't have their stuff together, so that's the only real opposition. So when you have nobody to tell you no, and you're outright just saying, "I'm going to kill people. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that," and they're war crimes, that means the man's crazy, and it also means that more American soldiers are going to be sent in to fight his war, a war that didn't need to, occur. He chose to launch this illegal war. Remember, he didn't go to Congress. He didn't go to anybody. He didn't even tell anybody. We all know why he did that, to escape the embarrassment from the Epstein files. Number one, and two, to basically make Bibi Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, the leader of Israel, the war criminal himself, to make him and Israel, happy. Because the agenda is they got dirt on them, and it's probably that, the Epstein files, in addition to a poor economy and everything else that was happening. But I mention this because if you have children in the military, if you have relatives and loved ones in the military who are serving, my understanding is these young soldiers are trying to get out. They're trying to claim conscientious objector status because they know that there's a madman in the White House, and man is sending them, is probably going to send them to their deaths, going to send them to fight for what? To cover up for pedophiles. They know it's not something they signed up for. They know it's not something they should be doing. A lot of them, yes, are very religious. Some of them are not, but a great majority of them are. And whether they're religious or not, they were taught some sort of values by their families. They're young, so they're trying to get out of it. They're like, no, this isn't for me. I didn't sign up for this. In addition, it was reported just a couple months ago that young soldiers and sailors were trying to stuff the toilets in the battleships in the Middle East when Trump was sending all the ships out there because everybody knew what was about to happen, or at least they knew something was going to happen before he attacked Iran. And by doing that, stuffing the toilets, they were able to delay what was going to happen. Obviously, there's soldiers who find themselves, sailors who find themselves, Marines, you name it, whatever branch of the military, they find themselves in an ugly situation where they're being asked to commit war crimes. And just like Vietnam, going back to Vietnam, people did some crazy stuff. And sometimes they did it because they were all drugged out, they're all messed up. Sometimes they were just trying to escape what they had already done, so they just went along with it. Others, got caught up with it. Others died trying to stop it, but the vast majority of these war crimes in Vietnam were never reported. A lot of these soldiers are young. They come from poor families, poor backgrounds. Definitely not the wealthy. I'll keep saying it to that little punk Baron. Got to send him out there. If you want to send somebody, send your own son. If it's such a just war, send your own sons to fight this war. But nope, we're not seeing that. So these war crimes are only going to get uglier, and it's going to force the young soldiers to go fight in something they didn't sign up for. They don't want anything to do with. And it's going to force a lot of people to have to support this war. Unfortunately, we'll look back and we'll know how foolish this is. And so, by committing these war crimes, keep in mind, I started out with he's going to steal the election, and he is. He signed an executive order the other day to basically block mail-in votes. And supposedly, he says because the Democrats stole the elections for 2020 and all this other stuff. But the truth is, mail-in voting has been around for a long time, and soldiers themselves have used mail-in voting. You know who else has used mail-in voting? Elderly people, poor people, people with kids who can't leave the house to go vote, and you're rushing, going, you can't stand in line all day. You know who else uses it? Military soldiers who are out fighting, and students who are at universities, colleges, or maybe if you're at a job, a location that you live in one state, you work in another. Unfortunately, this is what he wants to do, is prevent people from lower economic status, right? From lower economic means, and usually poor black and brown people, yep, Asians too. You name it, women, people with kids, struggling. They're trying to limit those people from voting. They only want the elite, the wealthy, and those connected with the rich and the Republican Party in this case to vote. They don't want anybody else to vote because they know they'll lose. Because they know they'll lose. And by starting a war, which he already has, I've been warning about that for months. It happened by invoking all these acts, Insurrection Act, even martial law. If he does that, he'll suspend the Constitution. And if he does that, for example, we lose all rights. I will not have the right to sit here on this microphone and inform everybody about what's happening, Raza. You won't have the right to practice your First Amendment rights, whether to oppose or support something. But he would do that, and that includes the Fourth Amendment right to not be searched illegally. Fourth Amendment is important, but then you got the Second Amendment. Those of you who like the Second Amendment, that will strip you of your right to freely carry your guns if that's what you care about. Point is this: he wants to start these illegal wars, start he'll continue these war crimes, right? And basically use poor people's kids to do the fighting, to stay in office, commit or create such chaos that people just tune out. They will tune out. They want, and this is true for most people. They don't know what's happening with politics, so they just want to tune out. And you can't blame them. And by committing war crimes, which he is openly bragging about, speaking about, and I say this till the end. I wanted you all to know what it was that he said in his posting right before on this Easter Sunday. I'm recording this on the Easter Sunday as we speak. This is what he posted. And I say this till the end because I'm gonna read you the whole thing. He says, let me go back to the real thing. He says, according to him, this is what he sent out to the Iranians. Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. That's this fool said, praise be to Allah at the end. This is, and I'm telling you this, I'm quoting him word for word. Not only it tells you how crazy this man is, but some people have become, desensitized to it. It's like, oh, whatever. No, it's not whatever. People, if you accept this kind of craziness, if you accept this kind of idiocracy, if you accept this kind of disrespect, I'm telling you, it's going to come back to bite you one way or another. Because this man has no loyalty to anybody, right? He just fired his attorney general, Pam Bondi, clown. She hid the Epstein files. She hid for him. She made sure nobody saw those files. She got no loyalty. She got no loyalty simply because he felt she wasn't doing enough right, and she went to bat for him. So I make this video so people can know that this man is crazy and we can't accept it. We can't normalize it. His offensive talk about about Allah, the way he speaks to the Muslims is offensive, and it's not going to do anything good for anybody. If anything, innocent people are going to die and get hurt because of his words. And remember, he's a wealthy man, and him and his wealthy friends, that they could care less what happens. They got all these protections around them, basically mini militaries protecting them, so they could care less. It's the sons and daughters that come from those poor working families all over the land who are doing the fighting, who are going to suffer. And it's the people who are innocent, who are just trying to live their life, who are going to suffer. Unfortunately, a lot of us don't pay attention to the news because you don't want to be political. And unfortunately, this is political. Everything's political. No matter how you hatch it up, everything is political. And this man does not care about you, does not care about your life, your kids, anybody. He only cares about himself. And unfortunately, these war crimes are only going to make it worse for us. And he will steal the election that are planned for November. All right. Just an update on that. I hate to bring the cussing to this channel, but I knew I was going to have to once or twice. This is one of them. All right. I'm out. All power to the people. And que viva la raza.